Okay, before I start, I want you to hear me out, okay? This is about low ELO. Alright, now that that's in your head, I think that you're a bad teammate. And I think that I'm a bad teammate. And I also think that all of your teammates absolutely suck. Okay? Now, I've given you some information. Let it sink in. Now, let's have a talk, okay? I'm not saying that you're a bad player, but I'm saying that you might have some issues working with your team. Now, I'm somebody who gets salty very fast when I have a useless teammate, okay? And I understand that sometimes your teammates are just as useful as a can of Spam in a calculus quiz. But there are things that we can do. Now, obviously, admitting that you're the problem is a very difficult feat. So let's talk about that just a little bit later after you trust me just a little bit more. So, what do you do if your teammates are bad? Now, in a best case scenario, my best advice that I can give you as a little itty bitty silver player who plays with plats and diamonds often is just talk. Okay? Just say what you need. Now, I have some friends who are in iron. Some of them just recently hit bronze, but they're very, very low ELO. And sometimes they just need a little push in the right direction. Now, solo queuing, you're obviously going to get some people who communicate and some people who don't. But if the person is willing to communicate and they're willing to be reasonable, just talk to them. Okay? I had a game the other day where I pretty much ended up IGLing and I felt like such a pretentious prick. But every single time I made a call, it would lead to us winning or making significant impact. Like the enemy team lost their op, or they lost 3 to 4 players and we picked up a Vandal. You know, just sometimes you can make things just a little better. But I get that this can't always happen. So, in a more realistic case scenario, where your teammates don't talk to you, and they're just horrible, then you need to find a way to work around them, right? And then how exactly do you work around somebody? So this is very situational, and it depends on various circumstances. So in some places, I'll try and I'll play with my bad teammate, right? Maybe they can't get the entry pick. So maybe I do the entry pick and then they help. But at other times, teammates don't quite like to use their util. I had a Sky once who refused to use any util. And it was very annoying because I was trying my little Rainer challenge where I didn't really have any impact on myself because I was waiting for the initiator to, initiate. So if you can't play with the person and you can't bounce off them, you can't get the pick that they missed, and you can't, do something like that, maybe just play away from them. I've had enough cases where I'm trying to sneak around a flank and then I have Reyna stomping at max volume, and just in those situations, you kind of just need to get away. Sometimes you need to be the one who flanks, or maybe you need to go in a different direction. And trying something new can be very beneficial for your team, which I did a whole video about. You might want to check that out. Top right of the screen, watch that after this video. But, sometimes you can't do that. So my cool trick, and it's very patronizing, and it is very narcissistic, but you know how Sky and Fade have abilities where they shoot like a dog, or you call it a dog. You shoot your dog out, and then Sky runs around with the Tasmanian Devil, and peeks the corner, gets shot immediately, but now you have intel. Pretend that your teammates are Sky Dogs. Just think about that for a second. So they're going to run around the corner and peek mid and get shot in the face immediately. Well, now you know that there's one mid. Now you know what you need to do. You even know what gun they have. You hear the op shot, or you hear the marshal shot, or you hear the vandal shot. So that's pretty cool. And you can even use your dumbass teammate as a piggy bank. This one's a bit of a stretch, but if you're in an eco round, so you just bought a sheriff, and you just hang around your dumbass Reyna who's going to aggro peek mid every round, you might be able to get a free vandal. Or if they get the kill, even better, you have a whole teammate on your team, right? That's pretty cool. But let's get a little bit more serious, and I'll try and be quick because this is already in the 5-minute mark. But what do you do if you're bad? And now sometimes you can't always spot it. Sometimes you don't realize that you're the problem. You're getting all the kills, but at the same time, you're baiting everybody else. So I will do another video about self-reflection. But the moment you realize that you might be the problem, or the moment you realize that you need to do something else, I think you need to communicate that. You know, Valorant, it's like a relationship. It's almost like having other people working with you requires you being a person to them. You know, crazy, I know, wow. But if you can't play with your team and nobody's communicating and you can't really be like, hey guys, I'm having a bad day, can you put me somewhere else? Maybe you need to play with the team more. Maybe you need to be the one who peeks first to let the other person second peek. Or maybe you need to be the second peek. Utilize the util. If you're playing Sova, then it's easy. You can try Recon. If you're playing Duelist, just get your ass on the site. Okay, enter with your initiator. Try and push at the same time with somebody else. Or if that's not working, just try something else. Stop doing the same thing over and over. That's literally my last video. And try and play safe if you can. Being alive is a lot more useful than being dead. Even if you don't get any kills for the whole round, you're still being more useful alive. But don't, like, be a wuss. I'm a little tired of seeing, like, I'm guilty of it. I've had, like, a bad day as Reyna or Jet, and then I kind of hang back a little bit too much. And then the whole team ends up hanging back because they're expecting me to entry. So playing safer might be checking that angle, or waiting for the second flash, or, you know, slicing the pie just a little bit more with your aim. If you don't know what that means, I'll do a video on that later. But just find a way to make an impact. Did you distract the team? Did you distract the enemies by pushing the other site, allowing your team to plant? That's great. Even if you die immediately and you don't get any kills the whole round, you still did something. And you should be proud of yourself for that. That even on a bad day, you figured something out. So just my last little bit of advice is keep your mental up, okay? And then maybe log out, because if you're gonna be 0-14 in comp, I don't want you in my games. Take a break. Trust me, you'll feel better when you get back.